Welcome to the Senior Health video. This video will talk about 13 strange gallbladder warning signs you must catch early. Have you ever felt a strange pain in your shoulder or a wave of nausea after a meal and wondered why it keeps happening even when your doctor says everything looks normal? You are not alone because millions of Americans experience confusing symptoms that seem unrelated at first, yet quietly point to a deeper problem they never imagined. While you go about your day thinking it is just stress or aging, your body may be sending urgent warning signals from an organ most people rarely think about. Your gallbladder can struggle for months or even years before the real damage begins, and the most frightening part is that the earliest signs often look harmless. That is why so many people ignore them until the situation becomes dangerous. Gallbladder disease rarely shouts for attention. Instead, it whispers through subtle discomforts that blend into everyday life, making it easy to dismiss what your body is desperately trying to tell you. This silent progression is what turns a simple digestive issue into a medical emergency that can send someone to the ER without warning. If you have ever dealt with unexplained fatigue, shoulder pain, dark urine, or meals that suddenly leave you bloated and uncomfortable, these may not be random events at all. They may be clear signals that your gallbladder is under real stress and waiting for you to notice. The good news is that you can protect yourself long before things become severe. Today you will discover the hidden patterns and overlooked symptoms that reveal when your gallbladder needs help. By the end of this video, you will understand how to recognize early warning signs before they escalate, and you will feel empowered to take the right steps for your health. So if you have been searching for answers, this is where clarity begins and where your path to better understanding finally starts. Number 1, persistent right shoulder pain. When this symptom appears, it often feels like a simple muscle strain, yet persistent right shoulder pain can be one of the earliest clues that your gallbladder is under real pressure. You may notice a dull ache that returns day after day, even when you have not lifted anything heavy or slept in an uncomfortable position. This pain can travel along the same nerve pathways that connect your gallbladder to your shoulder, which explains why it feels unrelated at first. As the discomfort grows, you may begin avoiding certain movements or blaming aging, stress, or posture, but the real issue may be deeper than you think. Science shows that irritation in the gallbladder can activate the phrenic nerve, creating a misleading pain pattern that tricks your brain into thinking the problem is coming from your shoulder. Many Americans describe this as a strange ache that gets worse after meals, especially meals rich in fat, because your gallbladder must contract harder during digestion. When the organ is inflamed, this simple action can create a surge of discomfort you cannot fully explain. A woman in her early 60s once said she spent months treating what she believed was a shoulder injury, until one evening after dinner, she felt the pain spike sharply, revealing the true source. But only knowing this is not enough, because there is another factor that is even more dangerous. Number 2, clay-colored or pale stools. After understanding how shoulder pain can disguise gallbladder trouble, you now move into one of the clearest digestive clues your body can give you. When your stool suddenly turns pale gray or clay-colored, it signals that something is interfering with normal bile flow, and this is far more serious than many people realize. Healthy stool gets its natural brown color from bile pigments, and when your gallbladder or bile ducts are blocked, that pigment never reaches your intestines. Instead, you may notice a light chalky appearance that seems harmless at first, yet it is actually one of the strongest indicators that your gallbladder is struggling to function. This color change often shows up after meals, especially meals high in cheese-fried foods, creamy sauces, or heavy holiday dishes, because your body depends on consistent bile release to break down fats. Without it, food moves through your system in an incomplete state, leaving your digestion slow, heavy, and uncomfortable. Medical evidence shows that reduced bile flow is a key marker of gallbladder inflammation, which is why doctors take this symptom seriously, even when you feel perfectly fine otherwise. One man shared that he ignored this change for weeks, thinking it was just a new supplement, until his doctor revealed that his bile ducts were severely obstructed. But knowing this alone is still not enough, because another warning sign can be even more dangerous and easier to overlook. Number 3, dark urine, despite adequate hydration. As you move from changes in stool color, the next warning sign appears in an equally familiar place, yet it is often misunderstood. When your urine turns dark, amber, tea-colored, or even brown, even though you drink plenty of water, It can signal that excess bilirubin is building up in your bloodstream. This happens when your gallbladder or bile ducts are blocked, and the bilirubin that should travel into your intestines is forced into your kidneys instead. Your kidneys then work harder to filter it out, which gives your urine that unusually dark shade. Many people confuse this with simple dehydration, but true dehydration improves quickly once you drink fluids, while gallbladder-related discoloration stays dark no matter how much water you consume. This is why you should pay attention, especially if the color shift appears after meals that are heavier, richer, or higher in fat, because your body relies on healthy bile flow to handle these foods. Doctors in the United States often see this pattern in patients who also report mild nausea fatigue or pale stools, creating a triad of symptoms that strongly suggest biliary obstruction. One woman shared that she thought her dark urine came from vitamins until her physician explained that her gallbladder was severely inflamed. But knowing this alone is still not enough, because the next symptom reveals an even more alarming sign your body does not want you to ignore. Number 4, chronic indigestion after fatty foods. Moving from changes in urine color, you now reach one of the most common early signs that your gallbladder is under strain. When you eat foods like fried chicken, creamy sauces, cheese, rich desserts, or anything high in fat, and you repeatedly feel bloated, nauseated, or heavy afterward, this pattern is your body telling you something is wrong. Your gallbladder must release concentrated bile to digest fat, and when it is inflamed or sluggish, it cannot do this job well. As a result, fat sits in your stomach longer than it should, creating pressure, discomfort, and a lingering fullness that can last for hours. Many people try antacids or over-the-counter remedies thinking it is simple indigestion, yet the relief is always temporary because the real issue is reduced bile flow, not excess stomach acid. Medical findings show that people with gallbladder dysfunction experience more post-meal discomfort, especially after dinner when meals tend to be heavier. You may also notice gassiness, belching, or a tight sensation under your ribs, which are all signs that your digestive system is struggling to handle dietary fat without proper support. One man recalled that he stopped enjoying his favorite weekend meals because every time he ate them, he felt sick for the rest of the evening, till his doctor finally linked these episodes to chronic gallbladder inflammation. But knowing this alone is still not enough, because the next symptom can appear suddenly and become even more alarming. Number 5, unexplained nausea and vomiting. As you move from recurring indigestion to a symptom that feels even more unsettling, you begin to understand how strongly your gallbladder influences your entire digestive system. When you experience unexplained nausea, especially after eating meals that are rich, creamy, or greasy, this reaction is often your body signaling that bile is not flowing the way it should. Your gallbladder normally releases bile to help break down fat, but when it is inflamed or blocked, that bile becomes trapped, creating pressure, irritation, and a buildup of digestive discomfort that quickly triggers nausea. Many people overlook this sign because nausea is so common and easy to blame on stress, mild food poisoning, viral illness, or simply having an empty stomach. Yet gallbladder-related nausea follows a very specific pattern because it often appears within 1 to 2 hours after eating and can linger far longer than expected. Medical observations show that reduced bile movement irritates the lining of the stomach and small intestine, causing a chemical signal that activates the nausea center in your brain. This explains why the feeling can become intense even when you have not eaten anything bad. One woman shared that she spent weeks avoiding her favorite foods, thinking they were upsetting her stomach, until she learned that her gallbladder was severely inflamed. But only knowing this is still not enough, because the next symptom reveals an even deeper level of stress your body has been quietly carrying. Number 6, chronic unexplained fatigue. Moving from persistent nausea, you now reach a symptom that touches nearly every part of daily life and often feels impossible to explain. When you notice a deep chronic fatigue that does not improve with rest or sleep and seems to drain your energy day after day, it may be a sign that your gallbladder is struggling far more than you realize. Your body depends on bile to absorb essential nutrients, especially vitamins A, D, E, and K, which support energy metabolism, immune strength, and healthy cellular function. When bile flow becomes reduced, these nutrients are absorbed poorly, leaving your cells underfueled and forcing your body to work harder to perform even simple tasks. This type of fatigue feels different from normal tiredness because it lingers no matter how much you rest and often appears alongside digestive discomfort after meals. Many Americans misinterpret this as aging stress or low iron, yet scientific findings show that long-term gallbladder inflammation triggers a constant immune response that consumes significant energy. Your body becomes locked in a cycle of low nutrient absorption and chronic inflammation, which makes exhaustion feel unavoidable. One man shared that he blamed his constant tiredness on getting older, until his doctor revealed that his gallbladder had been inflamed for months. But only knowing this is still not enough, because the next symptom begins to show its effects on the outside of your body in a way you cannot miss. Number 7, jaundice and yellowing of the skin. As you move from chronic fatigue into more visible signs, the next symptom becomes impossible to ignore because it changes the way you look in the mirror. When your skin or the whites of your eyes start turning yellow, it signals that bilirubin is building up in your bloodstream due to blocked bile flow. This yellow tint begins subtly, often first appearing around the eyes where the discoloration is easiest to notice, then gradually spreading across the face and eventually the rest of the body. Many people assume it is poor lighting or fatigue, but jaundice is one of the clearest warnings that your gallbladder or bile ducts are under significant stress. When bile cannot move from your liver into your intestines, it backs up into your blood and deposits this yellow pigment into your tissues, creating a change that doctors take very seriously. You may also notice darker urine or lighter stools, which often appear alongside jaundice and strengthen the clue that your biliary system is struggling. Medical cases show that this symptom can appear gradually, which is why family members or close friends often notice it first. One woman shared that she believed her skin tone looked different because she had been indoors more often until a friend pointed out the yellow color around her eyes and encouraged her to seek help immediately. But only knowing this is still not enough because the next symptom signals that infection could be developing, which raises the danger even higher. Number 8, fever and chills. After recognizing how jaundice reveals a blockage from the outside, you now come to a symptom that signals trouble brewing deep inside the body. When you begin experiencing fever and chills, especially alongside upper abdominal discomfort or nausea, it may indicate that your gallbladder is becoming infected. This happens when bile cannot drain properly and bacteria begin to multiply inside the gallbladder, creating inflammation pressure and a rapid rise in temperature. A mild fever might appear at first and can easily be dismissed as a seasonal cold. Yet gallbladder-related fever often comes with waves of chills, sweating, and a heavy sense of weakness that does not match a typical virus. Doctors in the United States view this combination as a medical red flag because infection inside the gallbladder can escalate quickly and lead to serious complications. Many people notice that these episodes occur after meals, especially heavier dinners, when the body struggles to move bile through inflamed or narrow ducts. Scientific reports show that infections caused by blocked bile flow can lead to spikes in fever during the evening hours when digestion slows. One man recalled waking up shaking from chills after ignoring mild discomfort for days and later learned that his gallbladder had developed an acute infection that required urgent treatment. But only knowing this is still not enough because the next symptom affects your digestion in a completely different and often confusing way. Number 9, changes in bowel movements and diarrhea. Moving from fever and chills, you now reach a symptom that affects daily comfort and can easily mislead you into thinking the problem lies in your stomach rather than your gallbladder. When you begin noticing frequent diarrhea, greasy stools, or sudden shifts between constipation and loose bowel movements, it often means that bile is not reaching your intestines the way it should. Bile is essential for breaking down fat, and without consistent bile flow, fat passes through your digestive tract undigested, which creates loose, oily, or floating stools that appear pale or leave residue in the toilet. Many people believe this is caused by food sensitivity stress or irritable bowel syndrome. Yet gallbladder-related bowel changes follow a more predictable pattern because they often appear after meals that contain butter-fried foods, creamy dishes, or anything with higher fat content. Medical findings show that reduced bile movement irritates the intestinal lining, causing water to be pulled into the bowel, which leads to frequent urgency and discomfort. This symptom can be disruptive because it makes you anxious about eating and forces you to avoid certain foods even when you do not know the true cause. One woman shared that she spent years switching diets, trying to fix what she believed was a digestive imbalance until an ultrasound finally revealed that gallstones had been blocking her bile ducts. But only knowing this is still not enough because the next symptom begins to mimic a completely different condition, which causes even more confusion. Number 10. Heartburn and acid reflux. After seeing how bowel changes can confuse you, the next symptom becomes even more misleading because it feels like a completely different condition. When you begin experiencing persistent heartburn or acid reflux, especially after eating meals that are heavy, rich, or fried, it may not be your stomach causing the problem at all. In many cases, this discomfort comes from your gallbladder struggling to release enough bile to digest fat. When bile flow is reduced, fat stays in your stomach longer, which increases pressure and pushes acid upward into your esophagus. This creates a burning sensation that feels identical to regular acid reflux, yet the root cause is poor bile movement, not excess acid. Many Americans treat this with antacids or acid blockers, which offer temporary relief but never solve the underlying issue because the true problem comes from an inflamed or congested gallbladder. Medical observations show that gallbladder-related reflux becomes worse after dinner when meals tend to be richer and digestion slows. You may also notice belching, bloating, or a tight pressure under your ribs, which are all signs that your digestive system is struggling to move food efficiently without proper bile support. One man shared that he spent months taking heartburn medication every night until his doctor discovered that gallstones were preventing his gallbladder from releasing bile normally. But only knowing this is still not enough because the next symptom can strike suddenly and with an intensity that you will never forget. Number 11, sudden severe upper abdominal pain. As you move from recurring heartburn into a far more dramatic warning sign, you reach the symptom that most Americans finally recognize as serious. When you experience sudden intense upper abdominal pain, especially on the right side or just beneath your ribs, it often means a gallstone is blocking the cystic duct and your gallbladder is contracting forcefully against the obstruction. This creates a sharp gripping or squeezing pain that can spread to your back, your right shoulder, or the area between your shoulder blades. Many people describe this as a pain that stops them in their tracks because it rises quickly, reaches maximum intensity within minutes, and can last anywhere from 30 minutes to several hours. This is not mild discomfort or simple indigestion. It is the kind of pain that makes you break into a sweat, feel nauseated, or struggle to take a deep breath. Doctors call this a gallbladder attack, and it usually happens after eating a heavy or high-fat meal because your gallbladder works hardest during digestion. Scientific findings show that when a stone becomes stuck, the gallbladder cannot release bile, and the trapped pressure triggers an overwhelming surge of pain. One man shared that he thought he was having a heart attack during his first episode until the ER confirmed a blocked gallstone as the cause. But only knowing this is still not enough because the next symptom reveals a quiet shift in your appetite that can mislead you into thinking things are getting better when in reality they are becoming much worse. Number 12, loss of appetite and unintentional weight loss. After understanding how a gallbladder attack can overwhelm you, the next symptom appears in a quieter but equally alarming way. When you begin noticing a loss of appetite that feels unusual, or when food you normally enjoy suddenly becomes unappealing, it may be your body responding to the discomfort that follows eating. Your brain quickly learns to associate meals, especially those containing fat, butter, cheese, or fried foods, with nausea, pressure, or abdominal pain, so you naturally begin to avoid eating. Over time, this leads to unintentional weight loss, which can seem positive at first but becomes harmful when your body cannot absorb essential nutrients. Without proper bile flow, your digestion becomes incomplete and fat-soluble vitamins that support energy, bone strength, and immune health are absorbed poorly. This creates a hidden nutritional deficit that drains your strength even further. Many Americans mistake this for stress changes in schedule or simply getting older, yet medical findings show that chronic gallbladder inflammation can suppress appetite for months before the real problem is discovered. One woman explained that she thought her weight loss was a sign she was finally eating healthier until her doctor revealed that her gallbladder had been inflamed and unable to release bile properly. But only knowing this is still not enough because the final symptom appears in a way that feels completely disconnected from digestion, yet reveals a dangerous buildup inside your body. Number 13, itchy skin without a rash. As you move from appetite changes to a symptom that feels completely unrelated, The next sign reveals just how far gallbladder problems can reach beyond digestion. When you experience persistent itching across your body without any visible rash, redness, or irritation, it often means that bile salts are building up in your bloodstream. This happens when bile ducts become blocked and the bile that should flow into your intestines leaks into your blood instead. These bile salts then travel to your skin where they trigger intense itching that becomes worse at night or after eating heavier meals. Many Americans mistake this for dry skin allergies or a reaction to laundry detergents. Yet gallbladder-related itching does not improve with lotions, antihistamines, or creams because the source of irritation is internal, not external. Medical reports show that this type of itching can affect sleep, mood, and quality of life because the sensation becomes constant and difficult to ignore. You may notice this symptom long before any yellowing of the skin appears, which makes it an early but easily overlooked warning sign. One man shared that he tried changing soaps and bedding for weeks before learning that his bile ducts were partially blocked and causing the buildup behind his itching. But only knowing this is still not enough, because what truly matters is how you respond once you begin recognizing these powerful warning signs. You have now seen how 13 overlooked symptoms can reveal the earliest signs of gallbladder stress, and how each signal can quietly unfold long before the situation becomes dangerous. Understanding these patterns gives you the power to act early, protect your health, and avoid complications that often appear without warning. If you recognize even a few of these symptoms, especially when they show up together, this is the moment to listen closely to what your body's trying to tell you. Your gallbladder does not ask for much yet. When it struggles, the effects can touch your energy, your digestion, your skin, your sleep, and your daily comfort. The good news is that awareness is your strongest defense. Simple steps like paying attention to food triggers, staying hydrated, choosing lighter meals, and seeking medical evaluation when symptoms persist can create meaningful change. You deserve to feel supported and informed, and you are never alone on this journey. Many people find relief once they understand what their body has been signaling for months. So let this be your reminder that small decisions made today can protect your long-term health far more than you realize. If this video helped you spot a symptom that finally makes sense, save it for reference and share it with someone who may need the same clarity. And if you want reliable guidance on senior health, safer foods, digestive support, and practical wellness tips, make sure you subscribe so you never miss the newest updates that can strengthen your health every day. Your well-being matters, and the more you learn, the more control you gain over your future. Stay tuned, because in the next video, you will discover powerful habits that support your liver and digestion and may help prevent gallbladder problems before they begin. Until then, take care of yourself. Stay aware and remember that even small steps can make a life-changing difference.